Okay.
And we're off. Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Well, today is day 3 of our Iron Chef competition, and the SmackDown today isn't necessarily between 2 chefs, although I think both of their recipes are delicious and they could be chefs, but for people who create products that I use and love. So we have 2 chefs, 3 secret ingredients, and 1 hour to create a delicious whole food plant-based recipe. Now, today's going to be a little bit different because they actually know 2 of the secret ingredients because they create them. So Nick from Local Spicery has chosen a spice that I've never used, he'll talk about, called Turkish Baharat, and he has to use it, and so does Thomas. Thomas from California Balsamic has chosen Sweet Heat. He has to use it, so does Nick. But what they don't know is their secret starchy ingredient that has to be the center of the plate. Before we reveal the ingredient, let's meet our 2 competitors for the SmackDown. We'll start with you, Nick. How you feeling about this competition? This is very fierce, isn't it, against Thomas?
I'm ready to concede right now. Thomas is the better man.
No, he's not. Now, let me ask you, what is your culinary point of view in general, and why did you pick Turkish Baharat? And tell our viewers what that spice is, because I'm not familiar with it.
Okay, well, in general, as far as culinary, I'm a Thursday cook. Mostly I just cook for me and Evelyn. We like to explore a lot, as you can probably imagine. We like to use spices and spice blends quite a bit. We like to use all natural ingredients. We really don't use much in the way of processed food. It's just, it's not a religious thing. It's just something that feels right to us. I chose Turkish Baharat partly because it's not as well known as many other spice blends. Let me go grab a jar.
It looks like you have caution tape over the secret ingredient.
So this is my wife's sense of humor. It has the secret ingredient in here, and it says "Caution, men cooking."
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Look, Baharat is an Arabic word, and like a lot of these words that we use for spice blends, it means a mixture. Much like curry, much like chimichurri. Baharat usually is, the Arabic version of a curry. It's not quite as muscular as an Indian curry, but it has very, very bright, aromatically sweet flavors. In the case of the Turkish Baharat, the flavor is really dominated by nutmeg. But what they do in Turkey that's unique among Baharats is they blend herbs in with it. So it's got the strong, sweet aromatic spice flavor to it. But then it's also got blended in some organic oregano and some organic peppermint, and those kind of soften the hard-hitting spice flavor, makes it a lot easier to work with. It combines extremely well with other flavors, and we did know coming into this we were going to be doing a starch, and the Turkish Baharat, it's you can put it on anything that's a starch and be very happy with the outcome. So I wanted to go easy on Thomas, but still keep it interesting.
Great. Well, thank you so much. And Thomas, you had over 30 vinegars to choose. Why did you choose Sweet Heat?
Well, Sweet Heat has been my personal favorite for several years. We've been putting this on vegetables. Primarily stir fries is my favorite way, but just last weekend, Ethel and I went down to a friend's house for game night, and we did vegetable fruit kebabs on the grill. And when you brush Sweet Heat on the kebabs while they're cooking, they caramelize. And that gave me an idea on what I would do with the starch tonight. And it was it's just the plant-based community loves the product. I love the product. I make this to make me happy because I'm a bit of a spice wimp. I can't use the blazing habanero. It's just too hot for me. And the Sweet Heat, we've actually made it less spicy over the last 2-3 years. And the more we spice the peppers that we remove, the more popular it gets because it just appeals to a wider audience. I know people will put this on salads, And I always say, I'm so happy you enjoyed that on your salad. And inward, I think, ugh, I would never use that on a salad, but that's just me. I like more of the fruit flavors on my salads, and then the savory flavors, teriyaki, sweet heat, Gilroy garlic, those I put on my vegetables. And that's been my favorite for years, and it'll stay my favorite for many more years to come.
I couldn't agree with you more. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take myself off screen and put you guys side by side. And if you like, you can open the secret ingredient. Tell me how you feel about it, and then maybe talk about what you might do with it. Again, they can use anything in their pantries in addition to the 3.
There we are. So here we've got, all right, sweet heat. What a surprise. Here we go. And here is the mystery flavor here. I understand Turkish bakara, something that I've never heard of, and it will be a treat. Wow, that is unique bouquet to that. Nick, what's the ingredient here that I'm smelling that's unusual?
Mostly you're going to get nutmeg, but it's nutmeg cut with some peppermint and some oregano.
Oh, peppermint. That's what I've got a little hint of here. Very nice. Okay, well, I'm going to be putting that into the vegetables that I'm doing with a stuffed portobello mushroom is what I'm going to do with all the veggies and all that. And I'm going to put this into that.
Wait a minute. So you decided in advance what you were going to do? That's not fair thinking about it. But what's the secret ingredient, Guy? Have you shown the audience?
Oh, yes. Here we go. Oh, so the sweet potatoes. Lovely. I'll do, we've got a cooked sweet potato and a raw sweet potato. So I'll use both of these in different ways. Just cooking them up. I can do sweet potato fries that are caramelized. And then I'll do I've got an iron skillet. I was hoping I was going to be able to use this iron skillet because it's the Iron Chef cook-off here. So I'm going to try and cook up these bad boys. If I don't put too many into the skillet, they should be able to cook up here relatively quickly, covered with a little bit of water in there, and then caramelize them up with some tasty balsamic that we have here besides the sweet heat. I'm always a fan of classic balsamic to caramelize potatoes or zucchini. Carrots is one of Ethel makes the most fantastic caramelized carrots with classic balsamic. So I'll try that as well. So this is going to be fun, Chef. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Nick, so are you happy with the secret ingredient, sweet potatoes? It's something you can work with?
Looks like Thursday night at the Davoren house. Should be pretty easy. I've got them prepared 3 ways. Is it that I can choose, or do I need to use all 3?
No, you can use it anyway. And we wanted to give you some raw, some cooked, just because we didn't know what you had in mind. As long as sweet potato is the star of the dish.
Well, what Evelyn has put together for me, she's got one group that's been pressure cooked for 15 minutes, one group that's been roasted at 400 degrees for 40 minutes, and one group that's raw. I think just in the interest of time, I'm going to go with one of the cooked ones. I won't really have time to work with raw sweet potatoes. I'm going to think this through. I'm not totally sure what I want to do, but even though we're working with a Turkish baharat, I think that I can play with that and push it in a different direction. For some reason right now, I'm thinking Southern Mexican, and I think I'll probably just explore it as we get moving. But my initial instinct is I'm going to take these sweet potatoes. I'll cut them into some largest chunks. I'm going to marinate them with the sweet heat. And by the way, it was again, I want to thank you, Thomas. Sweet heat is probably my favorite of the California balsamic.
You are a wise man, Nick, a very wise man.
I use it all the time, so it makes it very easy for me. Know exactly how to cook with it.
Good.
So I probably work with these. I'm gonna marinate them first with the sweet heat, and I think I'm gonna do some achiote. Now we do make an achiote blend, but our achiote blend has a little bit of salt, so I'll probably mix up a blend special for this. It'll be an achiote that'll be salt-free. So that's what I'm thinking. And I wanted to say, we had a little preamble earlier. This is the first time I've ever been on a YouTube video like this where I recorded it at my own house. Decided not to do it at the test kitchen because we don't have ingredients really lined up there. So I want to welcome everybody to my house. Welcome to my kitchen. And,
yeah, Nick, somebody asked what's hanging above your pantry. Mary wanted to know what that is.
I'll try to show you. My parents were great collectors of ceramic art, and that is a ceramic cow that my father commissioned to have made for my mother one year.
That's very cool. And I love your pantry door that it's glass.
Yeah, came that way. Actually, what I want to share, you guys all probably wonder what my spice cabinet looks like. And, you know, a lot of it's in here, but it kind of overflows. And we actually keep these out on the counter almost all the time. So we have a huge variety of spices. We're always using spices. We do most of our blending here rather than at the mill. And as you can see, I have a lot of vinegars that I like to cook with. And over here are my favorites, which are the California Balsamic. So we're in good shape, and we're ready to go. I think I'm ready to start cooking.
All good, Nick. All good. I'm dying to actually see what you're doing, which I cannot, of course. And that's a little bit of drama here, but I'll watch the broadcast later to see exactly what you come up with. But just like you, Nick, your cabinet is full of spices. My cabinet is full of balsamic vinegars. We've just put 3 or 4 on the counter here now, but there's 25 or 30 in our cupboard right now. And we'll just, and we also have the little squeeze bottles, the little 3-ounce travel bottles. We put a half a dozen of those on a little Lazy Susan on our kitchen table, so we can just spin it and close our eyes and grab one, and it's a surprise on what you're going to get for that night's salad or vegetable. So that's a lot of fun.
You need to create something like that people can buy, both of you, like for the favorites, like a Lazy Susan that has your favorite California balsamic and your favorite local spiceries.
Yep. So we're going to do, now what I've done to start off with, I've put 2 portobello mushrooms into the oven. Normally I would not do that, but because of time limitations here, we're going to put the 2 mushrooms in the oven for 15 minutes just to par cook them and then pull them out. And while those mushrooms are in the oven, we'll be taking a wide variety of good old veggies that we've got here, some onions, peppers. These are a couple of bowls of the squash and zucchini from our garden that Ethel did. And we also have a couple of purple Cherokee tomatoes from our garden here that Ethel, these are the greatest tomatoes ever. Chef, are you familiar with these?
No, they look amazing though.
They're a much darker purple hue on the top of the tomato. And Ethel goes to a swim class on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. And since we had so many tomatoes, she took a big box of them to people and last week, and they came back the next class saying, these are some of the best tomatoes they've ever had. So if you ever have a chance to try a purple Cherokee, please, it's an heirloom. So we'll be putting that into the stuffed mushroom as well.
Nice. I've had the brown Kamada tomatoes. I love those.
Mm-hmm. Are those locally sourced at, like at a Whole Foods or
I've seen them at Whole Foods and Trader Joe's. They're really nice and they're pretty.
Very good. That's how I mean, whenever we can get an idea of what we can use and where to get them, because Ethel and I are in Ukiah and we are so limited. It's over an hour's drive to get to a Trader Joe's or a Whole Foods market. So whatever we have at our local Safeway or Food Max, that's pretty much our only options here in Ukiah. So all is good. So I'm just going to be chopping up some of these veggies here that I've got. Oh, Chef, I've got some mushrooms here. And any idea, what are these mushrooms here? Any idea? We've got this and we've got these bad boys.
I don't know. Are they trumpet mushrooms or king oyster mushrooms?
I'm not sure. There are two different varieties, it looks like. We get these at our local farmer's market. A fellow named Duncan has a mushroom farm. And so oyster mushrooms, whatever they are, I like them. And I've always used these bad boys to chop them up and throw them into, especially our stuffed portobello mushrooms, because you want to have a lot of ingredients, and especially more mushrooms. They're so full of water, and they turn into an absolutely wonderful juice from the mushrooms that's on the pan. And I always want to pour that mushrooms, the liquid from the mushrooms over the mushrooms when they're all done. So the more mushrooms that are in a mushroom, stuffed mushroom, the happier I am. Okay. So now I've got most of the veggies here chopped up. I'm going to also, because corn is in season, we're just going to peel off the corn. I'm just going to slice it off, and we're going to put this in at the very end, and it's going to be mostly raw. Chef, is there any issue with having very lightly cooked corn in any dishes?
I don't think so. I mean, a lot of people even eat corn raw, I mean, I think
that's what I've heard.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard for years.
Right. The main thing with corn, I think that it's one of those things that you want to make sure it's organic and not GMO. That's the main thing I've heard about corn. Oh my God. Ann says she went to Local Spicery in Tiburon yesterday, but she was so bummed that it was closed.
What time? Should have, yesterday, Wednesday. Yeah, we're closed on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I'm sorry.
Oh, darn. Well, you can order online. That's for sure.
Yeah. We're still working to get back up to 6 days a week. It's been a challenge, but we're getting close.
Oh, Gina's asking me what I would have made with those 3 ingredients. Oh boy, that is a great question. Oh boy, I'd probably make a burger. Anytime you give me a cooked sweet potato, I think burger.
Well, let me show you what I've got going here. I've mixed up some achiote, and achiote is a spice blend that comes from southern Mexico, from Yucatan. In order, as I said, to get one that was salt free, I just kind of put one together on the fly, and all I did is I used our salt free guajillo chili powder, some milled achiote seed. Achiote is a spice that's native to the Yucatan. It's not really commonly used anymore as a spice, mostly used as a colorant, but it has a wonderful earthy, tangy flavor to it. And then I put in some sun-dried tomato powder, and I've got this bowl full of achiote spice mix. I'm gonna make a recaldo by adding the sweet heat, and I'm gonna mix it together to form kind of a paste that I'm gonna use to marinate my sweet potato with.
Well done, Nick. I'm dying to thank you for sending that sun-dried tomato powder bag the other day. We're definitely going to try and use that in one of our products here in the near future. So we tell people about it, and they just rave, thinking, I can't wait for you to come out with a sun-dried tomato balsamic. And I said, well, Nick's going to provide it for me, so it makes me very happy.
Yeah, let me know how it works for you. I'm curious how you like it.
Yes, I will. Now, whenever I'm slicing corn, they always just shoot all over the counter. If anybody's got a way to keep corn from shooting all over, please let me know, because I make a mess of this.
Buy it frozen.
Or get a sharper knife.
Yeah. Oh, this is a wonderfully sharp knife. They just go everywhere. I'm going to try and just do half of it and then tip it upside down and do the other half. And that's the way it will be. But I'll put this corn in at the very end, so it's not even cooked. It'll just be cooked in the oven when the mushroom is cooking as well. So we'll just have this little dish off to the side, and I'll find all these little stray pieces of corn hiding everywhere on my counter. So right now, I've got the onions and peppers going right now. I've added just a little bit of water to it, and then I'm going to cover it. And so it'll just cook a little bit faster that way. And then I'll add the other ingredients here in just a few minutes. Nick, how many people have you got working at your Tiburon store?
Well, right now it's two. We had one person, a young woman who was wonderful that has moved on to go to college. So we're looking to hire.
Yep.
And if you count Evelyn and I, because we're filling in the rest of the shifts, that makes us four.
Nick, we have hired college students for years because there's a local community college here in Ukiah. And we have used college students, and many of them, one of them just came back to say hi to us. She's a young lady named Sage, has been going to medical school up in Yakima, Washington. And she came back just to pop in and say hi. And it's just fascinating watching these young kids going to high school, college, and now on to go into the professional careers. And she hopes to come back to Ukiah and be an RN here, which is a wonderful thing because small towns need registered nurses badly, and Ukiah is one of them.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think I've decided I'm going to, I think we're going to do some tacos. I got the achiote marinating the sweet potatoes. I just threw some chopped onion on the stovetop here. I'm gonna saute that in a little bit of bada bing bouillon. Add some garlic, and then I'm gonna throw in some canned black beans, and then just let them sit on the stove. I think I'll probably do a Cuban style black bean, which is where at the end after it's cooked, you add a puree of fresh ingredients, which gives it a really wonderful fresh aromatic sense to it.
Nick, tell me what bada bing bouillon.
Bada bing bouillon. It's one of our recent blends. It's a completely salt-free vegetable broth powder that is very, very versatile and handy. It's solved more problems for me than I can tell you about right now.
Good for you. That's something we'll have to try a blend of and see if it works in balsamic.
You know, Thomas, it might be something you'll want to pair with other things. The bada bing is, I mean, it's intended to play to the background a little bit. It's a umami kind of a flavor enhancer more than anything, but it would definitely fill in a lot of depth on anything you're trying to work on. I will definitely send you some.
Nick, you know what I did with the umami? I used it as a seasoning over cauliflower and then I air fried it. It was amazing.
Oh, okay. We're doing that right there. That sounds great.
There we are. Okay. I'm going to add now my zucchini and squash to the pan here. And then we'll do tomatoes right after that. And now because there's so much with extra zucchini, squash, and tomatoes, I shouldn't have to use a lot of the of water now because well, tomatoes, squash, and zucchini are 90% water to begin with. So, and you can see here, I'll show it to the camera here, how dark the tomatoes are here. And I have to say here,
Were there any
that's
ingredients?
really good flavor.
Were there any ingredients you guys were hoping weren't going to appear? Like, were you saying, "Oh, I hope it's not buckwheat"?
No.
Evelyn and I kind of put together a list. I mean, we knew it would be a starch, and so she said, "Well, you know, how hard can that be?" So we kind of put together a list of what kind of starches would have been really hard. You know, we're going through. Well, it could have been yucca, could have been cassava, could have been manioc.
Yeah, the starch I was a little worried about, but because Chef, you said the other day, I'm not going to throw a curveball at you and do something really bizarre. Then I thought, okay, good. Now, these guys here out of the oven here, they're just starting to get moisture in the middle. I'm going to leave them in the oven for just a couple more minutes so that they will, so that they'll get a little bit more moist inside it, because that's what I'm looking for, the center of the mushroom to have a lot of liquid in it. And that way I know that they're just par cooked and ready to go, because it's just, you know, we're on a time limit here. So.
Wait, no one told me we were on the time limit.
I mean, you know, sometime today.
And let's see.
One of those last minute decisions that you made. I said I was going to make a salsa. I was thinking a traditional pico de gallo, and I went over and I saw a couple of peaches. So I think I'm going to do a peach salsa, which is going to pair very well with this Turkish baharat.
Oh, nice, Nick, out there. I wish I could give you a couple of our peaches from a tree we have in the backyard. They are exceptionally tasty, and they're just about all gone. We had probably 200 or 300 that we had on there, and they're just about all gone.
I miss our fruit trees. We used to have a bunch. We don't have anything like that in this house. Next house for sure.
All right, where's the next house going to be? Still in Marysville, where you are, or you're in Grass Valley?
Yeah, no. I think if you know, our next move is going to be a move further away. We've been looking in the Pacific Northwest, but who knows and who knows when.
Come to the desert,
Yep.
Nick. Nick, come to the desert.
You know what? My wife would love that. She likes it hot. You can tell because she married me.
Nick, you are a funny guy.
You know, this is my one chance every week that I can get away with stuff like that.
There we are. Let's see here. One of those. Okay. Oh, there we are. Yeah. So these have got a lot of there's a lot of liquid juice from the mushrooms in here now. So I'm going to pull these out and leave them right here for just a minute. And then I'm going to just load them up with that. Right now, though, I'm starting to chop up the raw sweet potatoes. I'm just going to put them in cubes, and then I'll do slices for the air fryer for the cooked ones. And because Chef, ever since you told me about doing sweet potato fries and with the air fryer, but I never realized that they had to be cooked first and cold, you know, to make them work right. And thank you for explaining that, because the first 2 times we made it, they were not that good, but we didn't make them properly. And now we know.
Well, they don't have to be. I just find they're better if they're cooked first.
Yeah, and that's what I agree with you. That's what we found. And it's really interesting because all these dishes that we've been making you know, under the Tuesdays with Thomas broadcasts just opened up our culinary eyes to see what the plant-based community does on a daily basis, which, you know, was something totally foreign to us. So this is a real treat here. Now, let me show you what the pan looks like here with all the goodies inside. And they're just about ready here. So all is good. I'll put in the one thing that I didn't put in here that I was supposed to put at the beginning, that'd be fine doing now, is now, Nick, give me a little education here. Turkish baharat. How much should I use for this? I don't want to overpower the dish. So give me, you know, half teaspoon, quarter teaspoon, full teaspoon. What's your opinion?
Oh, I'd be thinking in the teaspoon range.
Okay.
It's you know, the herbs, and since you're going to be cooking them a little, in particular the herbs. Yeah. Like I said, they'll calm down the aromatics on the spices. So this is, unlike a lot of similar blends, it's more difficult to overspice with that Turkish baharat.
Sure. All right. Well, we've got a teaspoon in here now. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'll show you what I've got going. I've got the beans now on the back burner. I'm just going to let them cook because, as everybody knows, beans are better the longer they get to simmer. To season them, this is something I love I love to do, which is to grind the spices just as I'm preparing them. So you end up with the strongest, most fragrant spices. So in this little grinder here, I put a little bit of whole cumin seed, some sage leaf, and a little bit of morita chili. And I'm just going to grind it right now and then add it directly into the beans while they're cooking. And at the same time, I'm starting my salsa with some red onions. I'm going to cut up my peaches and throw a little bit of garlic in. I want to peel those.
Nick, you are a culinary stud.
Oh, not me. I'm a very simple from a culinary standpoint, but I enjoy it. It's fun.
But that's the beauty about if you simply enjoy what you're doing. I've enjoyed cooking ever since I went in college. I went to a Wendy's, got a burger. I took one bite of it after I'd been doing that for many, many years. And I took a bite of it and I almost got sick. And I said, that's it. No more fast food. I am going to learn to cook. And every time I went back to Birmingham, Michigan, where I grew up, for any holiday, all I did was ask my mother, my uncle, and my aunts how they made their dishes, whatever it was. And I spent most of my time in the kitchen learning from family members on how they made their dishes, whatever it was. And at that point, I realized, oh, this is good. I like this. And I've been cooking for myself ever since I was 19. So with the mushrooms, I'm going to start off by putting just a little bit of the sweet heat inside the mushrooms, just for a little extra moisture and flavor. And I'm going to, and now I'll be able to pop the stuffing in them here, because this is now pretty much done here. There we go. Yep. This is ready to rock.
How thin did you slice the sweet potatoes? The question is.
Say again?
How thin did you slice the sweet potatoes?
Oh, well, now these raw, uncooked sweet potatoes, I just cubed them, and I'm going to put them into the hot skillet for about, I imagine only about 10 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes at high heat with a little water in there covered, and then I'm going to turn it down. So I'll do that in just a minute. But then the cooked potato are going to be in wedges to be put in the air fryer. Chef, what temperature generally do you do for the cooked ones in the air fryer? Is it, do you do full blast 450 or 400?
Thomas gets the phone a friend.
Oh, that's
right.
hilarious.
See, that's the rule. I thought I had to make these decisions myself.
Oh, that's so funny. I do 400. I'll happy to answer yours.
All right, Evelyn, what do you suggest I do then? And you can ask Ethel a question. Too funny. This is a tough crowd here. This is a tough crowd. So this is almost hot here for the skillet here. This is a skillet that Ethel brought because her family had been using this iron skillet for years and years. And I thought that is fabulous. Now, the corn I'm going to put in right now is, I just turned the heat off from the veggies, and I'm going to put this in, just give it a quick stir. And of course, it just adds a lot more color to the dish, because as we all know, a nice plate with a lot of beautiful color is a good thing. So I've got the tomatoes, the zucchini, and carrot. No carrots. squash, mushrooms, all good in here. So I want to get the sweet potatoes, raw sweet potatoes, just get them going in here. I can hear them sizzling here already. Now, because there's a time frame here, I wanted to make sure that all the potatoes, there weren't potatoes on top of each other. Every potato wants to be hitting the pan so that they cook a little bit quicker. So that's that. I'll add a little bit of water.
Let's see.
And cover them. There we are. Now, here we go. Got this bad boy.
Oh, there's a question from Susanna. Are we supposed to remove the gills on portobello mushrooms? I've never done that. Have you guys done that?
No, never.
No, I've heard, of course, there are two schools on this. One of them, of course, is take the gills out. I've always left them in because to me, it's just more mushrooms, and the more mushrooms, the better. So I have no problem leaving the gills in. There we are.
So I'm going to try something a little bit different. I don't have tortillas, so we're going to make some. And
You're going to make tortillas right now.
yeah.
Good for
What I'm
you.
gonna do, so if you read most recipes for tortillas, they're full of salt, they're full of oil. But what I like to do is I'll kind of get my natural oils by using some, in this case, canned. I prefer to use fresh, but I don't have any fresh corn. So I'm going to take a can of corn. I'm gonna run it through the blender to a puree, and then I'll add that to the masa to make the tortillas, and we'll make some corn tortillas for these.
Like I said, Nick, you're a culinary stud.
So I right out of college, I spent some time in Belize where I lived in the Yucatan, with natives, where in the houses, the floors were dirt and the walls were covered with cardboard and newspapers for insulation. And at every meal, the making of the tortilla was part of the meal. So while you were eating, the women who were doing the cooking were tapping and constantly making tortillas and putting them on the fire and serving them to you while you're eating. So quickly throwing out some tortillas. It's not really difficult to do. There's not much of a recipe required, and it's kind of a nice touch.
Sounds good.
You know what? I happen to have a chili here. I think I'll put some chili in the tortillas too. I think that'd be good. A little bit of jalapeno here. While you guys weren't watching, Evelyn took the sweet potatoes that I had marinating in the achiote, and she's put them in our air fryer at 400 degrees. They'll probably be in there for about 10 or 15 minutes until they're just a little bit crispy on the outside, and we'll put that into the tacos. It'll be kind of the the main little flavor bomb. It'll be the main, although it's a starch, kind of the main protein to the tacos.
Hey, that would be a good name for a spice, flavor bomb.
Flavor bomb. When Evelyn and I talk, we talk a lot about flavor bombs because we like to put big flavors into our cooking. And a lot of times you're cooking with starches and you get these broad neutral palettes, and you want to drop things in that have a very strong, very specific flavor to it. So we do like flavor bombs, don't we, dear? Spice bombs. Okay, let's try that, see if that works. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Perfect. You want to bring those over here? So this is how the achiote potatoes look, made with Thomas's sweet heat vinegar and an achiote seasoning, and that's going to go in our ultimately going to go into our tacos. Get this going. I got to get ready to make some tortillas. I've done most of the pico de gallo here. I've got the peaches in there. I've got some jalapeno chilies. I got some garlic, red onions, seasoned with the Turkish baharat, and I added a little bit of cumin and rub sage. And I think I'm going to put, even though there's already some fresh jalapenos in there, just for some smokiness, put a little bit of chipotle in there. Mix that up. The dressing will be very simple. Probably just a little bit of lime juice, and I'm going to do some fresh cilantro. For me, the pinnacle of achievement. Yeah.
Nick, I want to put a little showstopper topper on top of the mushrooms. Would that be appropriate?
Absolutely. Yeah,
a little bit of crunch in that, I think it'll be a wonderful thing.
A little bit of crunch, and it'll give it a strong garlic flavor.
Good.
This is one of my favorite things when dealing with fresh cilantro. There are two parts to the cilantro bunch. There's the leaf, and then there's the stalk. And I've mentioned this several times in our times together, AJ. But for me, the ultimate achievement is in one dish to be able to use both. So I'm just cutting the leaves off the stalks. I'm going to chop this, and these are going to go into the pico de gallo. And then the stalks here, I'm just going to coarsely chop them. They're going to go in the blender, and they'll be part of the fresh mix that I'll put into the beans at the very end.
Oh, you're using a second starch, you little devil, you.
Oh, you're a dog.
No, so are beans a starch or are they a protein? I always think protein.
Oh, I think of them as starch.
You know, I have a hard time having a meal without legumes. I just love legumes.
Okie dokie. So
Hey,
I'm
AJ,
just
go ahead.
No, just working on the last little bit here. I've got the sweet potatoes in the pan here. They're it's amazing how quickly they'll heat up on high heat and a little bit of water when they're covered. And then I'll turn the heat down and start putting in the classic balsamic and let them caramelize slowly over the course of about 5 or 10 minutes.
So I was going to say, AJ, with your idea of the cauliflower with the bada bing, when I'm back on with you in about a week, one of the things I was going to do was cauliflower with sumac on it, and I think it'd probably be a great idea to combine those and add the bada bing kind of on the bottom to soften the cauliflower up with the sumac on the top. So we'll do that in a week. We'll do that together.
It was really good. So there is a question from Anne for you, Nick. Where did you get your countertop burner?
That's the same burner that I used at our mill. It is. It's just a commercial grade. What do they call them? Induction burner. Got it just at a local, commercial kitchen store. You know, you can. I chose to go with commercial grade because, we use them a lot at the at our mill and in cooking classes. I wanted it to be very durable, but if you chose to spend less money on it and get one that was not commercial grade, you'd be doing okay too. They're all rated at the same 1800 watts, so you get the same amount of heat off of them. But it's just a kind of a mid-range commercial grade induction burner.
Nice, thanks.
Yeah, usually, as you can see, I've got gas stove here that I use for most of my cooking in our kitchen. But for this, I thought I'd want to be able to have it more right here in front so you could see what I was doing. So I brought the induction burner in.
So
Usually-
I'm now putting the caramelized sweet potatoes with the classic balsamic sizzling. So I turned the temperature way down low. Go ahead, Nick.
I was just gonna say, usually with when you're making tortillas, it's usually about a 1-to-1 if you're going to do it with water or broth. In this case, we're using a lot of corn, and then we're going to add a little bit of water. I put a little bit too much of the masa in, so I'm just going to add some hot water on top of it to bring it to the right consistency. You want it to hold together. Basically, think about it like a pie crust. You want it so that it's not sticky in the hand, and you can roll it out easily. And I'm going to actually be using a pastry roller to roll out the tortillas. So that's the consistency I'm going for. As you can see, it's too dry, so I'll be adding a little bit of water.
So Nick, Thomas took the stand-up comedy class with me. Are you going to take it next time and do an act for us?
Oh, you really want to humble me, don't you?
Go for it, Nick. I'll cheer you on. Now, speaking of the class, Chef, I was just informed that Gina is watching right now. So Gina, nice to have you with us.
I hope Gina will come back because she was really funny. She just hasn't performed yet.
There we are. Okay, so these are going well here. The air fryer's got about another 5 minutes on those bad boys. Oh, something that Ethel and Patrick suggested with the greens, that we're gonna put the Portobello on here, was to put a little bit of ruby red onion on the greens beforehand. And oh my gosh, this has turned into one of our most popular flavors for salads. I never thought it, because it's onion, I always thought it would be more popular on vegetables, but it's become super popular with the plant-based community for salads. So you just never know what's going to happen in this world.
So I'm starting up the fresh mixture for the bean. I threw all the stems from the cilantro in. I'm going to put a tomatillo in. Usually I would use a tomato, but in this case, I think a tomatillo is a little more appropriate. Trying to think what else I'm going to add. I'll probably throw some garlic in, and that should probably do it.
I will say the kitchen is heating up in here with the toaster oven and the regular oven, and it's going to be 99 degrees today in Ukiah. We're stinking hot in here.
99, that's nothing. It's going to be 120 here.
Chef, I keep my weather app that's on my phone. I keep Indio in it, and I look at your weather every day. And 120 today, I mean, unbelievable.
It's already 115.
Unbelievable what the temperatures that you guys have now in the winter. Comfortable, but boy, in the summer, you know, you can't, if you're gonna do anything outside, it's 8 o'clock in the morning and that's it.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
to walk Bailey.
People are wondering what you're making the tuned in late. Do you have like a name for your dish?
Ours are just killer stuffed portobello mushrooms. And of course, we'll just take whatever's in the pantry or outside in the garden and chop, 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 saute and stuff in mushrooms and pop, there they go. We'll put them on a bed of quinoa or couscous or brown rice, greens, any of the above works, whatever you have. And generally, Ethel and I, we're going to go to the farmer's market. We're going to get at least 4 to 6 portobellos. We want to make extras. I mean, with leftovers in our house, so that we only have to do the batch cooking here once or twice a week. and we're good for several meals, and we'll take them to work to have for lunch. So it's an overall win-win situation. So I'm going to check these for tenderness. Nice and soft. I knew these wouldn't take long in a hot pan. Wonderfully caramelized here, and it smells great. But of course, you've got to be careful with a good, thick, rich balsamic. You put it in a hot pan and it will burn. So please be careful with that. And if you ever have a cheap balsamic that you want to make into a reduction, be careful not to boil it. Put it on one of the lowest settings on your stove, maybe a little, put in a quart bottle or even just a half a cup of balsamic. Put it on the lowest setting to simmer and just let it sit for at least, half hour, 45 minutes to an hour to let it very, very slowly cook down, because we have burnt a gallon of balsamic that was a cheaper variety, and it was not a pretty sight. It has really a kind of a toxic smell to it if it's burning. So that's something you want to avoid.
I don't care for cheap watery balsamics. I'd rather have no dressing.
Thank you. You are a very wise woman.
Yeah.
Oh, those are good. Mm. Okay. Let's see here.
Could you help me just start plating, putting out the stuff for the?
Oh, yes, because if we were really doing this as an Iron Chef, plating is part of it. It's not just taste, but it's creativity and plating, of course, that people are going to judge you on.
Yeah, and all the stuff that we'd ordered from Italy, it was a little late coming here, so we're not going to have the very. No, I'm just kidding.
So there's a question.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Jeff.
No, there was a question for both of you, what to put on turnip greens.
Turnip greens?
Mm-hmm.
I've never used turnip greens, so that's out of my realm of experience.
What can I do here? I don't know. You know, for me, anytime I think greens, first thing I like is I like acid and heat. So something like Thomas's sweet heat would be a great thing to drizzle on top of turnip beans. I like to. Sometimes I'll take a varietal red wine vinegar, like something with some sweetness and body, like a Zinfandel vinegar, and some chilies in it. Let them sit long enough just to infuse, and then drizzle that on top. But that's where my mind usually goes when I think greens.
I'd put one of those. I'd put sweet heat on greens.
What do you put on greens?
I would put sweet heat or teriyaki, or the hickory smoke would be great on greens.
You're a bold young woman, Chef.
Gilroy garlic would be good on greens.
It would be, but I'm never going to do it. That's it. So I'm putting the sweet air fries on some foil, because I'm going to brush them with the sweet heat, and it would just go right through the basket that I'm in. So I don't want to make a mess in our air fryer here. So I've got the sweet heat is just going to be brushed on there ever so nicely. There we are. And I'll throw this back in the oven for just another 3 or 4 minutes. And this will be almost completely done. Nick, how close are you to being finished?
Oh, I got to pull it all together on the plate, and I'm just starting to pop out some tortillas. So give me 5, 6, 7 minutes.
Okay, good. Sounds good. We'll be pretty close to each other.
I kind of lost track of time listening to all the stories.
Do you guys have somebody to test?
Oh, yes. Patrick and Ethel are here. They heard there was free food, and they came running.
So the tortillas, you put them on a dry skillet, pretty high heat. I've got that at the 450, and that's the highest setting on a induction burner, so it's high heat. And it just goes a couple minutes on either side. You just want to develop enough of a patina on either side with the center to be still kind of soft. Use a little bit more here.
Here we are. I'm doing a last little bit of drizzle onto the potatoes with the classic for a last little bit of finishing sauce, because that's the best way to use balsamic. Use it as a finishing sauce in the last 1 or 2 minutes, because you'll get the most flavor using the least amount of product.
Right now, I'm feeling like that poor guy on the Iron Chef program just couldn't get everything done in time.
Yeah, you're lucky we don't give you guys the time pressure like in a true Iron Chef.
Oh, don't believe I don't feel the crunch.
Chef, what was the last Iron Chef competition you were in?
Oh my God. Well, it had to be before the pandemic. I think it was with
Sure.
Benji Kurt's event, I think in November of 2019. I think that was the last one.
Remember what you made?
Oh my God, I can't. I don't. I think I was partnered with Brenda Davis. I don't remember, but it was a lot of fun. I'll tell you that.
Good for you. Let us know the next one you're going to do. Well, be sure to watch it live on YouTube or wherever you are. And are you doing another stand-up routine this weekend?
Yes, Sunday, everybody, Charles and I are doing stand-up. It's free. So if you're on my mailing list, you'll know for sure. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
There we are. Oh, look at these bad boys. So this is what I like to see. I've just pulled out the air fryer here, and these are just bubbling with the sweet heat balsamic on these air fryers here. This is exactly what I want to see on here. So this is just wonderful. So I'm going to get ready to plate these bad boys here in just a couple minutes. I don't want to do too soon before you're ready, Nick.
Oh, that's okay. You showed up late. You can make up for it by finishing early.
No mercy around here. There is no mercy in the culinary world.
Oh, he's sweet. Thank God.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
Nick, would you repeat the ingredients for the corn tortilla? We had somebody ask about that.
It couldn't be simpler at all. It's just masa, the corn masa. I usually get the kind that says that it's for
Nick, maybe you can make them on the show when it's just you, and then we'll have a little bit more close-ups. People seem to really be interested in it.
It's pretty basic. Usually it's just masa and water, but I do is I'll do the masa, and I put in a can of corn that I puree, and then water on top just to get to the right consistency. Today I happen to have a jalapeno in front of me, so I chopped that up and added it.
And then do you just put them in a press and just give it a good squeeze?
No, I'm doing it right here. I put it between sheets of parchment.
Yep.
I'll do it right now. What happened to my? Did you take my masa? I don't know. I'm a messy cook. You guys can tell that. Well, just like rolling out a pie crust, flatten it a little bit by hand. In a traditional kitchen, these things would be totally done by hand. Traveled through Central America for 5 years. Never saw anyone use a tortilla press. Always just done by finger cooking.
Sure.
But it takes a practiced hand to be able to do that.
And were you working, for those years, or just kind of traveling around the country, around the world?
So I studied archaeology, and I was working in Central America as a pre-Columbian archaeologist.
Nice.
I had a bit of a name, so I was in a position where I could work almost any site that I wanted to. Everybody wanted me involved with what they were doing at that particular point in time, particularly as it related to their stone tools. Don't ask me any more, Thomas, or I'll digress and we'll never finish. It was a lot of fun.
All right, so I've just put the Portobello on the plate. I'm just now going to put on the caramelized classic sweet potatoes for those, and then I'll pop on some of the sweet potato fries that are just wonderfully, these caramelize better in the air fryer. It's simply, you can see here how, oh, my honey's taking one out there. There goes. There we are. Oh, I can't wait to have these bad boys. They are 100% gorgeous. There we go. And then with all these, of course, you can finish a little bit with whatever flavor you want, but I've got both sweet heat and classic on these. Classic on the cubes and sweet heat on the fries. And then, of course, a little bit of everything on the Portobello with Nick's Showstopper and the Turkish baharat and ruby red onion on that. So there's 2 spices and 3 balsamics in this dish. Why? Because we can. Chef gave us the opportunity to do whatever we wanted.
Within reason.
Oh, holy crap. Those sweet potatoes are spectacular. Lightly crunchy on the outside, tender and warm and moist on the inside. Holy crap.
Tortillas. Okay.
You guys are making me hungry. Aren't you glad Thomas didn't pick lavender vinegar, Nick?
Actually, that could have been really fun. I didn't know he made
that. Would have been
lavender
very
vinegar.
strange.
That's the that's the only one I haven't been able to wrap my head around, Thomas. I don't know why.
Chef, it was not, we designed that flavor to get into the Lavender Festival in Sequim, Washington. I sent them the very first bottle we ever made of it, and we got a notice from them 2 weeks later saying that only the Chamber of Commerce booth is allowed to sell lavender products. So we were not allowed to be in the festival because we were going to try and sell lavender balsamic. And I went, are you kidding me? So
imagine that you're trying to sell lavender at a lavender festival.
Yeah, shocking. So that was that's what happened, and we just said, well, that's it. Pretty little town, way up, near Puget Sound, in north of Seattle or west of Seattle, and great little city. But we just never got into that one, and that's just too bad. We're only going to go to 10 festivals next year instead of our normal 70 or 75. So our schedule has been turned on its head because of COVID. So, as a small business, as Nick will say, you've got to pivot with whatever's thrown at you. And that's what we've done.
Especially this last year.
You got that right.
Which is why we want to support you guys and other small businesses. You guys got any specials going on right now other than the AJ ones?
So right now, every April, August, and December, we have this is our 9th year that we've been doing this special. So please go to the front page of our website, because this is going to be on YouTube for years. I'm not going to say what the special is, but it's on the front page of our website right this minute. And it's, when you buy so many of these, you get extra bonus those and the Chef AJ favorites at the end. So you're getting a boatload of freebies for the whole month of August.
Wow. People are asking, what would you make with lavender vinegar?
Primarily, that would only go on a salad for me. Have I used it before? Never once, except for trying it, and seeing how it tastes. And we put it in soda water, of course, but to use it on a salad or vegetables, I have not used it yet. We've got 33 flavors. And as most people, I only use 7 or 8 of them on a regular basis. So how would I use it? I wouldn't personally, but I know lots of customers love it. So, and I constantly ask them, what are you using it on? And almost always they just say salads and vegetables. So, and of course, put it into soda water, but you can mix them. Lavender with a little bit of strawberry, or lavender with a little bit of peach. That's the beauty. You can do combinations like we did with these. Sweet heat, classic, and ruby red onion. I mix ruby red onion with so many, but sweet heat and ruby is my personal favorite. I actually made up a little bottle of it just for my own personal use.
Okay, Thomas, you can stop stalling for me. I'm done.
Well done, Nick. Well done.
Where is my Turkish Baharat? There it is. Voila. So can I'll just show you what I've got here. What I love about doing tacos, particularly through entertaining, is you can make it a group activity by just putting out a bunch of ingredients and let people make their own tacos, which is how I would serve this. So what we have is the bowl of the Cuban style beans, the sweet potatoes that were marinated in achiote with a sweet heat, a little bit of lettuce, some avocado, and the peach pico de gallo. I've plated 2 tacos here that are ready to be eaten, and that's my dish.
You want to come really close to the camera? Come close, really close to the camera and show them?
Yes. Actually, Evelyn's let's try to bring the camera up closer. How's that?
And maybe, Nick, there's a question from Susan. Do you ship to Canada?
No. We get that question enough that hopefully we will one day in the future. But right now, the 2 issues, one is the expense of shipping to Canada, and the other is the requirements of exporting food product into Canada. Our spices are an agricultural product, and at least the way the rules are written right now and the way we read them, we would have to get samples done of every single lot to show that they're clear of Salmonella and E. coli. Now, every ingredient we have meets that, but our lots are 5-10 pound lots, and we just can't afford to do testing at that level.
That's a crazy requirement.
Yeah.
So I'm going to chop this up into some small pieces here, so Patrick and Ethel and I can try a little bit of this.
That was not an earthquake.
What did you drop, Nick?
It looks beautiful. So there are some people watching.
My producer tripped on the tripod.
That looks beautiful. Guys, there are people watching live that are new to both of your companies and wondering where would they start. For Local Spicery, I would say pepperoni spice, bada bing, bada boom, umami, mommy, soul, the Toscana soul. Oh, the cinnamon, and Those would be my starters. Sun-dried tomato powder. For Thomas, depends if you like savory or sweet. But
Yep.
definitely sweet heat.
The Chef AJ sampler is always the most popular thing for a first timer, always.
Oh. All right.
We have two gift boxes that are quite popular among the SOS crowd. One is called Sweet Without Sugar, which are aromatically sweet spices, and the other is Flavor Without Salt, and those are more savory spices. Each one's a set of 4. You can that's a good place to start. Or if you want to start ambitious, we have a 16-jar starter set, the SOS free starter set. Both you can find really easily by going into www.localspicery.com/Chef AJ. That'll bring you to Chef AJ's homepage, which has 2 buttons, one which brings you to Chef AJ's favorite spices, and the other will bring you to a place where we have put just SOS free spices on it, because we do have some blends that have some salt.
So when you go to CaliforniaBalsamic.com, you can put anything you want to in your shopping cart, but I always recommend for first timers to do either the Chef AJ sampler or the mini 6-pack, mini 10-pack, or a mini 18-pack. And in the when you put something into your shopping cart, you can customize these gifts, these bottles. You do not have to have all the flavors that are in the Chef AJ sampler or the little mini bottle samplers. When you put them into your shopping cart, go to the bottom of the checkout page, which is called Order Notes. And in Order Notes, you can tell us, please customize my set with, and then just name every flavor you want, and then tell us what you want for 2 complimentary samples, which we'll put in every time. So that's just a wonderful way to start off with either 6, 8, 10, 15. There is the ultimate sampler in the 3-ounce travel bottles. You'll get all 34 flavors and 2 more little samples on top, which will be repeated because you're getting all 34 flavors. One of them is a flavor that will be introduced next month. The cucumber balsamic will be included in that one as well. So anyone may ask for samples, whether they're the 1.6 ounce or the 3-ounce bottles of cucumber, by putting the request into the order notes as part of your freebies that you'll get with every order. So easy as can be. If you have any questions, call the number on there. That's my actual personal cell number that's on over 1 million labels on our bottles throughout the country.
And you get calls 24 hours a day, don't you?
I'm sorry to say I do. Generally anywhere from 4 a.m. from people on the East Coast, 7 a.m. They're just going to leave a message for me, and my phone is ringing at 4 a.m. So I have to leave the phone here in the kitchen so I don't hear it in the bedroom because it'll ring 24/7. People want to leave a message, and that's fine. We want you to do that. But I just can't have the phone next to my bed. It'll wake me up at all hours.
What's the weirdest call you ever got?
Weirdest call, besides a wrong number, let's see. People occasionally call not knowing, and those are mostly wrong numbers. People calling California Balsamic wanting to buy, something from us. And I said, do you know what we do? And they'll say no. And I have to say, well, we do balsamic vinegar. So if you're looking for whatever ingredient they want, they often ask me though, how do I make balsamic? That's probably the question that I get frequently. They say, I don't make this. Balsamic vinegar only comes from Modena, Italy. So I have an idea on how it's made, but I've never actually seen the process. At some point, Ethel and I, when we're retired, we're going to blast over to Italy, and we're going to go to some manufacturers in Modena and check them out, because we just need to see exactly how it's made.
I got to tell you, it's hard for me to think what the strangest phone call was, but we've had a lot of really interesting challenges. I actually think that disorienting was the first call that we got from Chef AJ, which was totally unexpected, and it was this crazy woman that wanted to know about our pepperoni blend. We had one company call us that, and this is probably vegan inappropriate, but it's a company that created a robot that makes hamburgers completely without any human intervention from start to finish. They wanted to know if we could help them develop spice blends, not just for the flavor, but also optimized to go through their system at an optimized level. That was pretty interesting.
How unusual, Nick.
We've had some.
How's that bacon flavor coming? How's the SOS free bacon flavor coming along?
You know what? I haven't.
Not going to happen.
It sounds like it's going to happen. The flavor works. I just need to get the products ordered in the quantities that I need to finish them up. But very soon.
You guys are lucky. I love you because this, in a real Iron Chef, you'd have 20 minutes to do what you did in this time.
Total failure on my part.
So good.
So are we ready for the final description of the dish and plating?
That's it.
Okay, so who goes first?
Go ahead, Nick.
Okay, I'll go first. So my first instinct was to go to my roots, which was Southern Mexican, Yucatecan. We cooked the mystery ingredient, the sweet potato, by marinating it first in achiote with the sweet heat as the source of acid and sweetness in it. Then I did some Cuban black beans and a peach pico de gallo, so that we could make some fresh SOS-free tacos. So on the side for the tacos, we also have a little bit of avocado and some romaine lettuce cut coarsely. And these are the tacos.
That looks amazing. Did somebody actually taste it yet?
I haven't had a taco, but I've been eating the achiote sweet potato, and it's amazing. The pairing is absolutely perfect because you get the tangy heat from the achiote and the sweet heat against the sweet potatoes. It's unbelievable.
Nick, Gene is saying, could you show the dish up close, like you really take it really up close to the camera?
Well, here, these are the tacos. And as you can see, we made our own corn tortillas, so they're going to be nice and soft. I didn't mention this, but the reason why I add corn to the tortillas, I had an experience when I lived in Belize when I had a friend bring me a bag full of freshly picked ears of corn from that day. And the woman that was working for us that did our cooking, she took those ears of corn and she turned them into tamales. And they were the sweetest tamales I'd ever had, and they tasted like fresh corn. So adding in this case, it was canned corn, but the pureed corn to the masa, you get a much, much sweeter fresh corn flavor than you're used to in a corn tortilla.
Nice. Well, that looks amazing. I just want to see you guys eat it. Thomas, can you come close to the camera?
Sure. So again, I've already cut up, as you can see, the first one already cut up. But again, basically, the portobello mushroom loaded with all the fresh veggies, the caramelized onions that were put in the iron skillet, and then the ones that were done in the air fryer. Of the two, I've tried them both already. I really like the air fried ones much better. And on a bed of greens with the ruby red onion, balsamic, along with the sweet heat, the classic balsamic, Nick's showstopper, and of course the secret ingredient, the Turkish baharat. So I am absolutely jonesing to try these bad boys. And we've got three small plates.
Do you think either of you will make these recipes again?
Absolutely. This is one of our standard dishes that we make. Our portobellos, we make this at least twice a month, minimum. And here's Master Patrick and my bride Ethel. Master Patrick. Thank you.
Maybe they can move a little closer so we can see them right now.
There we go. Here, okay, come over this side, over here. There we are. There we are.
How is it, Patrick?
Patrick, what do you think? Give us your culinary.
But no pressure,
Patrick is
He just pays you.
Patrick is a big fan of putting the portobellos over a bed of lettuce out there. So this is just something right up our alley.
And just to clarify, you were given the orange sweet potatoes, both of you, correct?
Right. Orange
Okay.
sweet potatoes for both.
Well, this sounds amazing, looks amazing. Nick, you haven't eaten yours yet.
Well, Evelyn, you want to come and have a bite of a taco? Ethel did it. You got to do it. She's
The only
not
thing
gonna
about tacos is you always got to turn your head to eat them, you know?
Yeah, that's going to be messy, but that's the best part. Mm. We actually have a friend coming for dinner tonight. We're going to remake this tonight. It's pretty good like this. Oh, delicious.
That's great. Well, guys, thank you so much. It was so fun to watch your process. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, AJ. Always
And
wonderful.
we'll see you back. I know you have a solo slot later this month. And Thomas, of course, you'll be back every month, Tuesdays with Thomas.
And we're going to do basil balsamic next month. So if anyone has a basil recipe, please send it to orders@californiabalsamic.com. If we choose your recipe, you'll get 2 8-ounce bottles as a thank you gift.
What if I have a basil recipe? Would that be okay?
Yeah, we'll still use it anyway.
Okay, great to see you, Ethel and Evelyn. Thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please come back tomorrow as Iron Chef Week continues with two extraordinary.
On top of the mushroom.
Showstopper is great, Nick. Love it.
Nice. Tomorrow's show is 2 extraordinary raw chefs. We have Chef Ocean versus Chef James Sand. Thanks, Thomas and Nick, and see everyone tomorrow.